Hello, and welcome to the National Parents Union. I am Kelly Williams Bollard, and this is the Parent Effect. And I'm so excited. Today, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I have a gentleman, he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and he is a comedian. And I'm so excited. Mike, are you there? Hi, you know what? Hit your little mic there so I can hear you. There you go.
Is that better?
Absolutely. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. You are Mike Head. You are from Cleveland. I just want to, get a chance to I'm just excited for the next half an hour just to talk to you about being a dad and can you just tell the people just a little bit about yourself right now and what you're doing?
Well, I am a stand-up comic and an actor, so I do that. I've been doing that for about 13 years now. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, but
but
I don't know if you know or if I ever even mentioned that to you. The very first time I met you you were in a classroom. Did I tell you that?
I don't think so. I don't think we
Okay,
ever
so
talked about that.
you were subbing in our classroom at Bookto High.
Oh
And I
yeah,
don't think I
that's
ever
yeah.
and you were in the classroom with me.
That's right.
It was at the new building. I believe, yeah, it was the new building.
Yeah.
And that was the first time. And I think right after that, I thought I saw you on something I was, going through the television with. And I was
hmm
like, that guy was in my classroom, hey. So I know
Yeah.
I know, so that's so cool that, you do work with children. You have the patience to want to work with kids as well, and adults or whatever. But
Right.
we're going through this pandemic right now, and what we are like in our 15th 16th week. How have you
hmm
been getting along?
Well, I've been with the shows and stuff like the comedy shows, all that stuff got canceled. And so what comedians now are doing are they having like live Zoom shows, which are very weird and awkward because you're just telling jokes to a bunch of people that's just looking at you and they giving you laughing emojis. You can't hear anything, and they giving you thumbs
Right.
up and little clappy hands and stuff like that. So uh, it's just I don't know. It just changed the game. Clubs are opening up slowly but surely, but I'm still still haven't gotten booked yet. But I work part time at Stark State Community College in Canton, Ohio. So that has been kind of keeping me afloat financially.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where
And
I'm at
your
right now.
dad?
I am a dad.
How old are
Yep.
your girl? How old are your girls? You have two girls. How old are they?
I have two girls that one is 17 and say hi.
Hi, sweetie. Oh my gosh. Oh,
That
that's
is my
so good.
oldest. That's my first baby. My second one, she'll be 12 next month. So, yep.
12. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, she's in the car. She don't want to be on the camera, huh?
She's like, Dad, stop it. So, yeah.
That's too cute. That's sweet. That's okay though. Maybe next time, maybe she'll want to come on, or your kids will want to come on, and we can talk to them as well. So just to get an
Yeah.
input, to see how they're getting along with all of this new, world stuff, because it's a
Yeah.
big transition for our kids.
It is. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, because they're talking about not really having school in the fall either. So,
Right.
I mean, I guess
And
every
with
parent is going to be homeschooling. So,
exactly. Okay. And if they are going to have school, I already know that PE is out. I already know that lunch is out. So like in like twice a week, or you'll come for a day and then you're off a day and then you come for a day. So how does that work as far as getting your credits that they need and your
right.
PE credits and all these
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be
things,
weird.
and then socialize so they can social. Mm-hmm. So, you started freezing up on me for a second. You're like, ah. But so let's get to the good part because I'm excited. Like, give me some stuff about your how what characters do you go into? And I'm gonna want you to do some of these characters. So who do you like to do the most?
I think am I still not not frozen? Am I okay right
You're
now? Am I
moving.
good?
You're doing
Okay.
good. Yes.
Okay. The characters just kind of came out of, you know what? I didn't even really know I could do that stuff. I started out doing Obama, when he first got elected. I think I prayed and called somebody and just was playing around because you know how they have those approved advertisements, and I called somebody and just was like, first of all, I want to say that you need to vote for me. And they were on the phone like, who like is it? So
They thought it was
and
him.
they thought it was like, is this a recording? Like, who is? They didn't know who it was. Of course, I called privately, and that's what started. I started doing Obama, and it just kind of caught on. I started trying to do other people. I think my favorite one to do now is Idris Elba. So yeah,
Let's hear it.
I do him quite often. The way I made him is just kind of like, super arrogant. I don't know him, but I'm always talking about how he's like the sexiest man alive. So because you ever watch his Instagram? Like, have you ever paid attention to him?
I do.
Because he's always like talking about nothing. He's always like, so hello everyone. So how you doing, mate? I see some people logging on right now. Wow, thank you for coming in. I am the sexiest man alive, and I just want to know how you guys doing today. The sky is blue. I know I look like the sun is in my eyes, but that's the way I always look because I'm just sexy. Kelly, you don't think I'm sexy? You don't think my eyes are sexy and the wrinkles in my head are sexy? That's how I play every role in the movie. So this is my permanent look. So it's your boy Idris Elba. Turn it off. I see you guys later. So
that is so him. That is so him. And I also I've watched you do Will Smith. Can you do a little bit of Will Smith? He's pretty. He has
Will
a lot of energy.
Will always is extra, especially when he's on his the red table talk. Like he's always like gotta. So with the corona, you have to vibrate on a higher level, and you don't have to worry about really getting the coronavirus. If you don't believe you're gonna get it, you won't get it. Okay. Because you can't have any fear of anything around you, or it affects your mind just like the corona, but it's not gonna get me, okay? Because I believe that I won't get sick. It's all up here.
That is so good, man. I'm so happy you were able to do these characters today. That just brings joy because I'm always so serious, and this is so awesome. I want to know, how can people follow you? Where can they, what do you have so people can follow you on social media?
You can follow me on my YouTube channel, which I do all my like celebrity impressions and stuff on there. They're very, topical, either having to do with the pandemic, elections, or stuff that happens in the, social media and stuff. My YouTube channel is Mike Head is Funny. Mike Head, HEAD is funny. My website is mikeheadcomedy.com. And you can get like my tour dates and stuff like that when I am working somewhere. But yeah, and then my Twitter handle is on there, my Instagram, my Facebook, all that stuff is linked from my website. So
where are you? Do you know, have you booked anything for July or August?
No, I have not booked anything yet.
So you letting the world know right now that you are available.
Yeah, I'm available. So any club in America that needs a headliner,
you the man.
I'm the man. I can do it.
That's right. That's right. And also I want to go into detail with with all the things that you've been doing. How has that affected, you know, like your family, like when you had to talk to your girls about, like, it's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. You know,
Mhm.
other than the pandemic, okay, we
Right.
got a lot of injustice in our country.
Mhm.
Have you had, you know, you have your daughters and your 12-year-old, have you had to sit down with them and talk to them about anything? Have they come to you with questions? Like, how have you been able to communicate what's going on?
I've been able to kind of hit kind of skip on it a little bit. It's been hit or miss because they have been paying attention. They you know, I've told them why they're rioting or why they're, you know, protesting or what actually happened. I don't think either of my kids saw the video. You guys see? Did you see the George Floyd video? No.
Mhm.
But I told them that this is something that has been happening for years. It's just with social media, you know,
Yeah.
it's been made available, you know, to the world. I remember, you know, Richard Pryor made a joke back in the '70s about, you know, cops killing
Yeah.
black people. It was a joke. It was very funny, but it was a harsh truth. But it's
Of what's
something
going
that
on.
has, yeah, of what's been happening for years. It's just now that, you know, people are being held accountable for it. And you know, I just explained to them, it unfortunately, you know, with George Floyd, finally, like, people are starting to come together, and they
Mhm.
saw, you know, my kids saw, like, you know, white, black people, Asian people, you know, people of all different ethnicities, like, walking together
Mhm.
because, you know, they're
Of
kind of like, yeah, they're fed up.
And you know, because I always feel so passionate. Every time I come on, I always, you know, feel passionate about talking about that. And I do love that we have been able to come together as many people, as humans, to get
Hmm.
together to say what is right and what is wrong. We all
Hmm.
want liberty. Who
Yeah,
doesn't want liberty? And
right.
if they say that liberty is for all, then give us that right, you know,
Hmm.
give us that liberty that is just due, past
Yeah,
due, you
right.
know.
Yeah, it's it's scary. uh it's pretty scary. I just to give you an example, I was telling my friend from, she's in LA, she's a comic too. I was telling her about something that happened to me last week. I was with my girls, and I got into a car accident. A motorcycle like hit me from the back. And just to kind of give you an example of what the climate is, like, the guy flew off the motorcycle, you know, hit the ground. I jumped out of the car, and it was a white gentleman, and I jumped out of the car to see if he was okay, but he was staring at me after he got off the ground. I'm staring at him, and we both paused because just the way everything is. I mean, in my head, I'm like, is this guy gonna shoot me? He had a
Right.
military uniform on and a backpack on. I jumped out of the car because my first instinct is I want to protect my girls. And he's
Right.
staring at me, probably thinking, like, is this guy going to, you
Hurt you.
know, yeah, hurt him? And so
Mhm.
we just stood there literally and stared at each other for like a minute. And we both finally just said, hey, are you okay?
Mm.
And we were in the middle of the highway, and we just gave each other a hug because it was it was pretty traumatic. Like, we both had to just slam on our brakes because it was a dog on the highway. But he, you know,
Mm.
I wanted to see if he was okay, but at the same time I was scared.
Yeah.
And then we had to file a police report. The cops show up, and I, you know, I'm nervous all over again, you
Yes.
know, because I was driving my sister's car, and I didn't have her insurance on me, because my, you know, I had to sell my car. But I was just nervous. I'm just like, what is, you know, what if this guy is one of those guys? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. And the
And
anxiety just goes to another whole level all
yeah,
over you there.
exactly, exactly. So it was just, and I was telling my friend that, and she was just kind of tearing up. She was like, it just shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to be, as a black man, like that scared
Yeah.
because you see an officer or a white guy in a military uniform that you think you're going to get shot. Like, but that's what ran through my head. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because people get so angry because race relations are the way it is. I just was like, oh my God, like, is, you know, is
Is
that
this
going to happen?
right
Yeah.
in front and
And
in front of your girls? You
exactly.
know, I was going, it's like you have to limit yourself on social media in these past weeks, ever since the Floyd situation, because like, I mean, I've always tried to limit myself a little bit anyway, you know, because I can't
Mhm.
just be like overly stimulated with these everything, because it's
Yeah,
too much. It's
yeah,
too much.
yeah, yeah.
But even now, it's really like that. So as soon as I get on, there's this gentleman, and this cop just slams him down, breaks his ribs, and it was the wrong
Oh yeah,
guy. Did you see
yeah.
that?
I saw that. I saw that.
And the guy, I can guarantee you he has post-traumatic stress now, because he was so scared that he had me,
Yeah,
you know, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, this is it. You know, I mean, as soon as I
yeah,
turned, as soon as I turned on my, you know, my social media, that was on, and I'm like, dang, this cannot
yeah,
keep going on, you know, or
yeah,
like the Breonna Taylor, you know, that
yeah.
right there, she was asleep. You know, how do you just get murdered asleep by authorities, you know, by somebody just
Right.
coming, or the gentleman, the Hispanic boy, he's only 18. He was a security guard out in LA, you
Yeah,
know, and then they said he had a gun on him. His parents said he didn't own a gun, you know,
yeah. Right.
and that he was a good boy, you know. So it's so much going on that we just really have to, you know, even my daughters, I have two daughters, and it's
Mhm.
so crazy because like even now I'll send them a funny clip, and then they
Mhm.
don't respond. And then maybe, you know, as the day go by or the next day, I'm like, did you get, you know, because they ignore me
Yeah.
anyway. So, so I'm like, did you get that? It was so funny. And it was like, no, mom, I turned my social media off. They was like, I
Right.
can't do it. You know, they
Mhm.
are just so overwhelmed with all that's going on that they won't
Yeah.
even watch. They won't even go on social media. And this is their era, not mine. It's more
Yeah.
their era. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to take in for us. And I think that counseling. What do you think about counseling? Like, I know you're a comedian, but what do you think about Black people? Our culture in counseling, because a lot of people don't want to do it, but I think in this time and day, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
I don't think. I mean, whether it's dealing with some post traumatic stress from this or anything, from relationships or whatever, I'd be the first person to run to therapy or counseling, and I've done so because first of all, sometimes you just need an unbiased opinion. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
that no
You
one
need
knows you.
no one knows you. You need sometimes you need to get away from your family and friends who are going to continue to validate you or make kind of like keep you in those repetitive patterns of behavior that
Yeah,
might not be healthy for you. You need to hear somebody from the other side. It's good to just talk and just have somebody listen,
yes,
and not have someone always trying to tell you what to do or just to get it out of your system. And as a male, first of all, and then just like as a Black male, it is sometimes kind of frowned upon, just kind of like expressing ourselves in
yeah,
that way, or crying or being vulnerable or just saying like I'm hurt. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I got my feelings hurt. I got my heart broke, or I'm depressed, or I'm disappointed in myself, or whatever. Those are things that I've had to admit to myself and to my therapist. You know what I mean? So I think is very important, very
Yes.
therapeutic, and for your personal growth, and then for my daughters. Like I have to continue to grow in order to help them become the women that they need to be, you know.
That is so
So
it, that is so beautiful. I'm so happy because as a woman, we can say this all day long. But when a man says it, a Black man, when you actually just said that, and then the listeners that will tune in, you know, then
mhm,
they can see, yes, you got this young Black man that said it's okay to go and get counseling. It's okay. You know, don't ever think
mhm,
that it's not. Um, I know the first time I ever went to get counseling, and I've been through a lot. I don't know why I didn't go before this, but I went
right,
because I've been through some things. But anyway,
right.
is when I went. I don't even know if you know my backstory or anything about me, but
I don't.
okay. So some years ago, I got an indictment, and I had never had an indictment before. And I
Mm-hmm.
got an indictment. It was in regards to what had happened almost 2 years prior. I had enrolled my kids in my parents' school district. And I guess, and it was illegal to a point that I didn't know it was like that illegal that I would get an
Mm-hmm.
indictment. And
Right.
so I got an indictment, went
Okay.
to jail. My dad went to jail. He died in jail. And so all that, it was
Jesus.
so much, that I ended up going to get counseling. And I was just talking and I was just talking to this lady and just pouring my heart out, because it was just like everything at that time in my life, it just seemed like everything was an issue or wrong, or anything I said, the media would take it and spin it. And I'm like, no, wait a minute, And so it was a lot to take, you had to really have a strong spine to handle when things come down on you,
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell anybody now, go get counseling, go do what you got to do to make sure that you're mentally healthy.
Yeah, you do. You got to make sure, man. You got to, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important. Like that mental health, that spiritual health.
Right. Because my father would never have went, like, and he could have been through all kind of stuff, and he would have looked at us like that's for someone weak.
Man, my dad went through so much stuff. God, rest his soul, man. Come on, man. My dad, he's from South Carolina, was in that, Jim Crow era, raised on a farm, used to, pick cotton for money, and lost, it didn't have either of his parents, was driving a school bus, like literally at the age of 13 or 14,
Wow.
he would have to park the bus back at, where he lived, and then walk a few miles to school. Like, man, my dad used to have stories for days, just being in the wrong neighborhood, getting chased out of, by, white community members and stuff like he just was on his own for years, man. And like, telling you, and he never been that. He was just a man's man, and he just was quiet, didn't say nothing, kept it all in, but
bottled up. And that's so not healthy, because that just that just manifests all kind of issues and diseases and ailments, because you're not letting it out. So it's and we, as a Black woman, we want our Black men to live a nice long life, and so you must talk and tell how you feel about different scenarios. And since you said that, I want to say this. I know I don't have that much more time, but I just want to say this. There's areas in Ohio, there's one, and I don't know if you know about this. It's a thing called sundown. You ever heard of sundown? Okay. So sundown is if you are caught in a particular area, and this still goes on, we're in 2020, and they have signs. If you ever see a sign that says sundown, they're talking to Black people. And you're not allowed in that neighborhood after sundown. Yeah. And so I think it was in the southern part of Ohio that this gentleman not too long ago disappeared. He was in this neighborhood, and he never went home because he was there after sundown. See what I'm saying? Wow. So, and that's in Ohio, and we're in 2020. You see what I'm saying? So we have to keep each other woke and understand where we're at, in this day and age. But I didn't want to get too deep, or that. I wanted to keep this segment very uplifting and bright, because I was just so excited to be able to have you on. I'm so honored, and I just want to say thank you. This was awesome. I love what you're doing, and see comedians bring laughter. It brings a whole different thing. I feel you hear about D.L. Hughley.
D.L. Hughley, yeah.
Like, dude, not yet. It's not time to be in.
Yeah. Yep. I worked with him before, man. Really good guy, man. Really nice guy.
He seems like it too. I hope he, gets well very fast and stuff, because I hate that this has happened to him. But he seems like he has a good will that he'll come out on top. Yeah, he will. We need him. Absolutely. We definitely need him, because he makes sure everybody woke too, because this Instagram is fire.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. That's a smart dude, man.
Fire. Yes.
Yeah.
So before we end, I just also want to say to my audience, to my people that do tune in, thank you so much for tuning in, because you could be doing anything in the world. You could be anywhere. You could be doing anything. You don't have to tune in, but you decide to come in and you decide to listen to what I'm talking about on Mondays and Wednesdays. You decide to come in, and if it's 10 minutes, if it's the whole half an hour, I appreciate you all so very much. I have so much gratitude. I just thank God that you guys come and check me out and see what I'm doing. My views are awesome, and that's all because of you guys. So thank you so very much. Do you have anything to say before we leave? Before we end?
I know. I just think, thank you for having me on. Thank you for, just choosing me to be on your show. It didn't get too deep. It was stuff that, we needed to talk about. I think this is more, some of the things we talked about are just as important as laughing. So I'm just glad we touched on it, man. I have no problem or no regrets with sharing it. So thank you for having me on.
Great. All right. Thanks, Mike. Give them something to leave with, a character, leave with somebody. Let's do this.
Okay, since we got all deep, I'll leave with Dr. Phil. Okay, now you are telling me that you've gotten how many views from your videos? It doesn't even matter. I just thank you for being you, because Kelly, without you, I don't know what we would do. I mean, it doesn't make any sense how I love this show. You can't put feathers on the dog and call it a chicken, man. I don't know. I'm just glad to be here. You keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back after this.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.